Hello, hello! So, we've hit the mid-year book tag, or whatever it's called actually. I don't know what it's called. But I have my book journal here, and I thought I'd do my thoughts on all the books I've read for this year so far. And it's 49 books, which is crazy mind-blowing. I think that's the most books I read in a year so far. So I thought I'd quickly talk about them, show the picture up here, because most of the books I read are either on Kindle or library books, and I only started to now get books, like physical copies. But yeah, I just quickly wanted to talk about whether I recommend them or not. Okay, so January, the first book that I read is Women Who Run with the Wolves. Do I recommend it? No. I gave it 2 stars. It was just a whole lot of explaining, a whole lot of fluff to it, so I feel like it's a no for me. Then I read Win and by Harlan Coben, and he's one of my favorites, if not the favorite author. I gave it 4 stars, and if you love mystery, I feel like you will really love this. In February I read 6 books. True Women by Lisa Taddeo, 4 stars. Do I recommend it? If you want your heart to be physically wrenched out of your body and be heartbroken, then yes. But it follows these 3 women and their stories on sexuality, so it might not be for you, but I really enjoyed it. Dark Places, 3.5 stars. Not that I was cringe, not that it was too dark, but I kind of felt a bit let down for it. The Alchemist, 3.5 stars. Yes, especially if you want a book that's short and simple and you want to get some sort of lesson from it, then yes. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, 3 stars. I just saw it was very average and nothing really shocked me in it. Like, it just didn't feel mystery enough, so no. Normal People, I gave it 3 stars at the time, but after thinking about it, it's 2 stars for me, and no, I do not recommend it. It just was too much of character driven book, and I didn't like the writing style. It was a bit hard to follow, just no. Then I read the book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, and I gave it 3 stars, 3.5 stars. Some of it was super good, and I actually enjoyed reading it. It was a quick read for me. March was 8 books, and the first one I'm starting off with, Akatar. And oh my dear lord, I absolutely love this book. 4.5 stars for the first one, and absolutely recommend 100%. Mexican Gothic, I loved it. Like, it's one of those books that I still think about, and it lives in my brain rent-free, honest to god, in my brain, in my head. So it's very gothic, very creepy kind of vibe to it, and a little bit of horror. So if you like that, then go ahead, even though it is written in a 3rd person, so bear that in mind. But I looked past it. I really enjoyed that book. The Housemaid, 4 stars. I still prefer Verity over this one, even though it was good. But because I read already something very similar, just Verity will always be my top book in that kind of similar genre. Do I recommend? Yes. Conversations with Friends, I gave it 3 stars. I actually like this one a bit more than Normal People by Sally Rooney, but do I recommend it? Maybe. My Dark Vanessa, 3 stars. Read your trigger warnings, and it's a very tough book to get through. It's a book about a professor who is grooming a student of his, and I recommend maybe. The Defense, 3 stars. Kind of average read for me. Wasn't much of a thriller vibes, but still good. Do I recommend? Maybe, but I feel like there's better thrillers out there. Page Tune. The Minute I Saw You, 4 stars. Yes, it's my favorite book of hers that I've read so far. Ghosts, 3 stars I gave it at the time, but I feel like I give it more of 2.5 stars, so do I recommend? No. It was just such a basic read, and I don't even remember what it was about apart from this girl being ghosted and what it felt like. But I didn't like the writing style. April, I read 10 books, and Unnatural Causes, 2 stars. More like 1 star. It was a very boring book. Nothing made me interested in it. I generally thought it would be more interesting than that. His and Hers, Alice Feeney, my first book I read of hers, 3 stars. This book was creepy and not in the best of ways. Do I recommend? No, I feel like no. Read the trigger warnings because it's definitely not what I expected at all, and the characters were very unlikable. For a thriller, I feel like there should have been at least one likable character, and because there were such few characters written in the book, you kind of guessed who is the murderer. Corrupt, I gave 3.5 stars at the time, but I feel like it's a 4-star book. It's a whole lot of smut. It's a dark romance, and I love that universe. The Devil's Night series is just so good. I've only read this one, but if you are looking for something that's smut related, read this one 100%. But make sure you read your trigger warnings because there's a good few in there. Every Summer After, it's such a controversial book because I see kind of why people might not like it, especially at the very end, where there's a huge miscommunication trope, but I enjoyed the writing style. One of the quickest books I've read through, and I love the storyline. I thought it was very cute, so do I recommend? Yes. Ninth House, 3 stars. I love the fantasy aspect of this book, but I felt it was very, not boring, but there wasn't much happening really, and hard to grasp, just hard to understand the world building in this book. And do I recommend? No. Ghost Lovers, 3 stars. Another book you should read your trigger warnings because it's based on like 7 short stories or something like that on women, of how they interpret the world around them and of themselves. It's another tough read to get through, but I feel like there's no way you will read this book with your rose-colored glasses on and still keep them after reading the book. Do I recommend? Maybe, if that's your vibe. The Grey Shear, 3 stars. Do I recommend? No. It's a dystopian book, and I wanted more of it, and I didn't really like the storyline. But if you love The Handmaid's Tale and Hunger Games kind of vibe, you might actually enjoy this. 13 Weddings, 3.5 stars. I hated the back and forth between the 2 characters, and the love triangle just wasn't it for me, but I like the concept of the 13 weddings and all different kinds of weddings, brides, grooms, everything, and I love that aspect of the book. A Court of Mist and Fury, 5 stars, 100%. 6 stars. Like, Akatar series is by far one of my favorite series, if not the favorite series I've read so far. It has enemies to lovers, and you just get so many more characters and just so much more of the plot. Court of Wings and Ruin, 4.5 stars. I love the part that it's based around war and how all these characters kind of go about it. I find this one more for the plot, whereas the second book, Akamath, is more romance based, I felt like. And yes. The Family Upstairs, 3 stars. Kind of gave me another creepy vibes, but I kind of enjoyed it, so I would give it now 3.5 stars. It was a good mystery, had a good few plot twists, and if you kind of don't mind the creepy, eerie feeling to it, yes, I do recommend it. Runaway Groomsman, 3.5 stars. Do I recommend? No. I thought it was very rushed kind of book, but I loved the rom-com in it, like small town romance and second chance. Evidence of the Affair is 3.5 stars, is what I rated back at the time. What I would rate it 4 stars. It's a very short novella, I think about 80 pages long, and it's in a letter kind of format between 2 spouses who keep writing back and forth since both of their spouses ended up cheating on them and they both kind of found out, and it's this very cute friendship that they form and are there for one another. I just thought it was very adorable kind of book, even though it's not supposed to be adorable, but it's the friendship trope that I loved. Daughter of the No Worlds, 5 stars. Yes, I absolutely recommend. I love the world building in this, and the friendship between Max and Tisana is the cutest and most adorable, wholesome relationship that I've read about. The Friend Zone, 4 stars. Do I recommend? Maybe. It wasn't the best rom-com that I've read, but the miscommunication trope, I hated in that, but I loved the banter between the two characters and the friendship between them, and I love that. The Happy Ever After playlist, 5 stars, and this book made me fall in love with Abby Jimenez's writing. So good, and it's a sequel to The Friend Zone, but there's the celebrity trope and redemption to the first character, or redemption to the character from the first book, where she had not such a great things happen to her, and the second book is so much more wholesome for her. Life's Too Short, I do not recommend. I kind of get why people love this book, but after me reading, and this is the 3rd book in the Friend Zone series, I just thought it was just so boring and just didn't live up to the standards of the Happy Ever After playlist, because that was my favorite book, and I just gave it 3.5 stars. But I hated the single mom trope in this. I gave 3.5 stars, but I should have given it 3 stars. Love on the Brain, 4.5 stars. I absolutely love this one. Out of all Ali Hazel books that I've read, I feel like that is my favorite book of hers. She just has such unique romance books, and recommend 100%. Daisy Darker, 4 stars. I absolutely love the thriller to this book. Every page I kept reading, I just wanted to read more and more to find out what exactly happened to Daisy Darker, who's the main character, between her and all the family members, because all of them are on such bad terms, and it just made me want to read it even more to find out what was this dark secret. So do I recommend? Yes, but the ending was a bit of a letdown. It didn't start with you. I gave it 3 stars at the time, but should have given it 2 stars. I didn't agree with the book. I thought it had some good points, but just wasn't my favorite book. The No Show, 4 stars. The romance in it is a subplot, so don't go into it thinking that it's like massive romance book. It's not. It's more of character development driven book. Do I recommend? Yes. The ending was a bit of a cliche, but I looked past it. I thought it was like a very good, enjoyable read, and based on these 3 women who get stood up by a man, it gave me like thriller vibes. I was just like, yes, what happened to all these 3 women? How are they dating this man? What happened to him? Why did he go missing? I loved it. The Perfect Wife, 3 stars. I didn't think it was very memorable read. Very average. Felt like nothing was happening at times, and very predictable. The director, dark romance mafia book, 4.5 stars. I recommend. Kind of if you're looking for a smut book, yes, but the FMC is 5 months pregnant when the book starts off, and he walks in, he's mafia, and he didn't know that she was pregnant, and so it's this relationship, how they go about with the pregnancy and between them, and how they figure things out. So I really liked it. Short book, The Things We Leave Unfinished, 4 stars. Do I recommend? Yes. I prefer the historical romance over the contemporary romance, and the plot twist I really did not expect, but I absolutely loved the book. June, I read 8 books. Belladonna, 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. It had a little bit of everything. I just love it when my camera dies. Lingus, 4 stars. Yes, even though the second half of the book is more of smut, but it's friends to lovers, and the main character, Kat, goes to a porn convention and where she meets the love interest, and I love the banter between these 2 friends. Survive the Night, 3 stars. Do I recommend? No. I thought it was such a boring thriller. There wasn't really anything in it. I hate the fact that the illness trope was used in it. The plot was a bit messy and I couldn't wait to actually finish the book, so it was alright, but I don't recommend. The Sweetest Oblivion, 5 stars. The best Matthew romance that I've read by far. Shadow and Bone, 4 stars. I love the world building in this book. It was very unique perspective here again. A little bit hard to grasp onto the world building around it. You've reached Sam, 1 star. Probably the lowest book that I've rated by far. I don't think I've ever given 1 star to any books yet, but the writing was bad, the plot was bad, no chemistry between the characters weren't likable, just felt like nothing. It just felt very YA, and I don't mind reading YA, but just this one was a no. The Longest Holiday by Page 2, 2 stars. It had all the tropes that I despised, so cheating, love triangle, pregnancy, and a very cliche ending, but I like the concept of it, so I'm sure maybe there's someone out there who would enjoy the book, but I don't recommend. The Love Hypothesis, 4 stars. Yet again, another Ali Hazelwood book, and I love her writing. Do I recommend? Yes. There's an age gap, fake dating, and workplace dating. Brain Damage, Frida McFadden, 2 stars. Not great, no suspense, pretty much everything is based in the hospital. Couple plot twists were good, but just boring. I don't recommend. And then last but not least, Never Never, 4 stars. I love the plot, I love the concept, I love the mystery behind it. The ending was a bit of a letdown, but Colin Hoover can do no wrong in my eyes. I loved every single book I read by Colin Hoover so far, and definitely recommend. Okay, that felt like a very long video. I hope it's not going to be too long, but these are all the books I read so far by July, and this definitely makes me realize how much I've actually read, because I definitely didn't think I read that much, and I was so wrong, because 49 books is a whole lot. I've only planned to read 30 books this year, and somehow I've nearly doubled it, and it's not even the end of the year yet. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.